Totally forgot what we were gonna do. Where is this project located? Oh yeah, we were gonna test the Tubi stuff, right? I'm gonna do a fresh clone. Why not? RMRF, baby. Pretty sure I've got a copy of it somewhere. Pretty sure. Why not? Oh, let's test our chat. Didn't work. Whoa. That seems to be on. That seems to be on as well. Test. That's me. And oh, right. Cat jam, baby. Boom, ba ba da bum, ba ba da bum, boo doo doo doo. We want to keep a window open at all times. Put this down. Okay. Oh, GitHub. Yeah, of course. Test. Input. Oh, cool. Seems to work. Now, where is this? Oh no. Might have to cut the stream short. This. Where are we? That's what I thought. Call deferred. Such a good fix. Oh, nope, didn't fix. What does that mean? What about this? Oh, we're not syncing any data. That's going to be important. One more baby test. Boom, baby, boom. All right, let's see what they do here. What should we do now? I don't have my Godot app going. I don't have any Godots going. That's bad. Let's do that. Should we listen to some music? All right, we are kind of ready to begin. So, Tube is going to unlock something pretty darn cool. I'm pretty sure this is going to work great. And when we tab over and we can open up our window capture here and say it is a lightweight multiplayer session using WebRTC, and it does a lot of the same things that I've done in my own implementation, just kind of neatly packaged into the asset library, which is something mine isn't really ready for. So um, I've done so much work on my system that I would love to use mine, but it's possible that this just works better. And the goal is to make the next edition, and by the end of it, you'll be able to, in the tutorial, ship a a version that anyone can play. Right, so that would be really cool because there's really nothing like that out there, and Tube probably enables that. The problem with Tube, there's no problem with it, is that they have no game attached to this, and intentionally so. I think they have like, I think like a little drawing app where you can see people draw as default. Reddit, is it on the Godot page? Yeah, so we have to implement a whole bunch of um things, but Tube, Godot, Reddit, where is it? Showcasing here it is. Yeah. So this is their demo. And they made a little drawing game. This is really cute. What is this, 4 months ago? Yeah, it's about time I look into this more deeply, but it's a smiley face. So why not just begin the next series, you know? Like, the other part I've got to think about is like the forest, and like, can we do some enemies, some simple enemies? Like, what can we make, like a little tower defense or vampire survivors, like, you know? And the other thing is a projectile system. Okay. So we go here. Okay. Episode part 2. High level goals. You will be able to ship this to a friend. We'll have them open it and join you. Enemies. Walk in. I don't really want to do that part. It's very proprietary. What the fuck is hell? Why am I sleepy? Might have to get on the fucking treadmill. I really don't want to have to do that. Like, maybe I can stand. Oh, this is awful. Whoever decided to attach a body to a brain, might need a word with them. It's empty. Fuck. Do, 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 do. Hi, brother. How today? How today? How today are you? I am today. Do, 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 do. Fine. All capitals. Just realized I never built my levels around the player's jump height. I watched a great video of how game gyms, zoos, museums have a level with gas jumps that feel good. Yeah, that's a good point. Level design is a whole thing too. Yeah, so far I've only really built gyms or zoos or museums because I've never finished a game or even gotten close. That's why I'm kind of just switching over to templates. If I can't do it myself, I'll just give it to other people to do. I still get the intrinsic value of helping people or having people enjoy what I make. I think that's why I'm in the business, not for money. Just happy comments. I'm thinking about there's a Valve VR game that ships with the Index. VR, the Lab Arrow game, and so this is this VR archery. I was just thinking of this is almost gray boxed in a way because the enemies are very basic and they just kind of walk among these paths, and your job is to shoot them. Yeah. Found a lot of value in your content. It's helped me a lot. Yeah, I think similarity to you, so I like your turtle. That's good. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I think the same way. I mean, there's a lot of different styles of things. So having essentially a wave shooter like this is really easy to program, and we can do arrows and projectiles rather than guns. Some fun with that in terms of setting the velocity and having the gravity applied to the arrow. Now we wouldn't have VR controls, obviously. We would have mouse and keyboard, and we could have these targets. The cauldron is always fun. And they get these helmets on them where, and it's pretty genius. This game is actually extremely fun, and it's just a demo. Valve is such a great game studio. They know what it takes. It's funny they've used hexes here, and they don't even use the hexes. Yeah, so I'm thinking that this might be a good like toy or a prototype to aim for the finished game. It may not be all that compelling in VR, but I mean when it's not VR, but having like the arrows, kind of figuring out how to aim like Valheim bow. Like I really like the bow and arrow in Valheim. Kind of just like shrinks the area as you pull back. We can do some delta time, you know. Yeah, yeah. So we're talking about continuing my tutorial series. I just posted a co-op template, and I'm trying to do part 2, and I think part 3 is when we actually make the game. So the actual game will be kind of a bow and arrow sort of thing. Because I really like this has just enough a wave shooter with some skill, and then you'll be able to walk along these ramparts, and we're gonna lay it out really similarly. And this is really fun in VR. It might not be as fun like mouse and keyboard, but protecting the gate, and that way we can have them all just take paths like we can program their hey PC head, hello. Oh, I was looking at your YouTube average Godot guy, and I saw you were making a typing game or something. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if I can click on I can click right here on your go-to channel. You've got some cool stuff for sure. Dude, what is this? I love this. Holy God. What the fuck? This is absolutely lit. Okay, so we got to turn on the sound too, because this is so fucking cool, guys. This game was inspired by medieval art and alchemist drawings. I love your art and references. This is. The story so far is that you are a person sent to retrieve the seal of Solomon from this evil monastery temple thing. I'm with you. Look at that. Look at that. This is incredible. You've got some really sick stuff. And yeah, I haven't finished anything either. And so yeah, so now you have a typing game going. This is you too, yeah. Where's the typing happening? Is this the game? You're sitting in a chair and you're like, that's mine. That's old. My newest stuff is different. Very cool though. Very cool. You'll have to send me some stuff if we're not friends in Discord. Hit me up. I'm really excited this. And you've used the secret keyword for me, which is Morrowind. I love Morrowind so much. It's like the prototypical like can't be beat. Well, we'll have to look at your stuff some more. So cool, so cool. Love to see it. Love to see all this cool stuff. I'll have to check that out later when I'm off stream. Yeah, yeah. Post some stuff. Send it to me in Discord. I don't know. I think I just posted in the main Discord there. So yeah, what part two gonna be about? This is it. Currently this doesn't work in terms of having your buddies join you. So the prototype is useless in part one. Thanks, saw your tutorial. Can't do multiplayer. I'll have to watch. Yes, yes, you can do multiplayer. It is. If you can do all the things that I saw on your channel, you're absolutely capable of doing multiplayer, and it's no problem. It does take a little bit of it's a learning curve. Multiplayer is kind of like, you know, distributed programming or even time travel together. You have like different machines out there and you've got to keep them all in sync, but getting all those signals and things connected is not too bad. But I think the second part, if you give it to a friend, open and join. Currently we're all on local host in this prototype. So we join, we have a server there. We have to kind of decide whether we want to stick with this dedicated server approach and have them deploy a piece of infrastructure to the cloud. Or do we want to rework it completely and do it pure peer-to-peer WebRTC, which is going to be more complicated, but cheaper. Because our option is to get these out of here. So this is hosting a dedicated server, and you have to do all of these AWS security groups. It's not as bad as it looks. And it's like more conventional that you would have an IP address. So I'll take votes from the group. So do you want to do dedicated server or use a set of tools called WebRTC, which will work in the browser? It's a really tough call. I think performance-wise, there's not going to be much difference. Cost-wise, one is completely free and the other is maybe $5 a month. With your add-ons and Node Tunnel. Yeah, so I'm trying to decide whether I want to use WebRTC, which I don't think is really a node tunnel, but it's a web native Godot. It's different. It's definitely different. Or do we stick with what we did in the tutorial, which is very standard? It's called eNet multiplayer peer. And you fill in a address like this, but you have to create in DigitalOcean or AWS account and set up your infrastructure. That's what you did, huh? What cloud provider did you use? Are you add main in place of game world? Yeah, I mean, my main is just a main menu. What do you mean? I can't understand, but I'll try. And then main menu, I use P2P approach with eNet. I didn't set up dedicated server. How did you use a P2P approach with eNet? And you have to have a server. A centralized server. So that is not a, it's not a dedicated server. You have a player on it. So you call it P2P, right? That tracks. I'm hoping I explained it right. But yeah, in my video actually I cover some of that with there's such a interesting set of terms. WebRTC, so all these different multiplayer peers, including the Godot Steam one. Interesting. That's a good vote. Basically, we have this dedicated server approach, and then you have P2P. It's just that one of these is a server, right? This is quote unquote P2P with eNet. That's what you're doing. You're aiming for this sort of setup. The thing about this is that, yeah, this can get a little confusing unless you got to be very careful to make sure that your player character isn't different than your client player character. Because these player characters, they can sometimes try to do something that where they have authority or do not have authority. And since the server has authority over a different set of items, like it can be enemies and rocks and stuff like that, what can end up happening is that this player will seem to have these superpowers because they'll be able to do something to this, whereas Dave and Julie will not because their client is more like this number. So you just have to be careful because these little characters. These are whoa, what the fuck was that? Okay. Yeah. No, it's not about cheating. It's just that you get confused when the server can affect a enemy. So this is just like a little like demon. And then so if Julie tries to delete a demon, it won't work because she's not the server. But if this player who's hosting tries to delete a demon, it will work. It's all about authority. So the way I like to do it is I like to make all the clients equal and just have a dedicated server because that way all of these entities only exist on the server. These are the server's responsibility. It's very clear who controls what. Hello. So today, Nat, is the topic pass through or relay? Like, you nailed it. Yes, it absolutely is the topic. We were just talking about whether we wanted to use a dedicated server or a more of a P2P mesh WebRTC setup, which is going to be very, very different in some regards. So the goal is to create part 2 of my tutorial. I just released part 1. But we want to be able to ship this to a friend, have them open it, and join you. That is literally the goal. Right now, The rest of this is kind of less important, but we're thinking about making a wave shooter. This is a pretty fun project. This seems like a pretty fun thing to do. But yeah, it's hard to... Yeah. Have you tried Steam multiplayer? I have not. I think you could also easily use Steam. It's going to be a slightly more complicated topic. I would have to like prepare that. But the advantage of Steam is that it gets you closer to like an actual Steam release. The disadvantage of it's $100, right? You can't really stick on that Game Wars or what is it, Space Wars forever. You have to pay the 100 if you really want to list and have your friends play with you. And I think for your first few games, like that's a big barrier, and that's kind of why I've actually built an entire lobby system. And the lobby system operates in the browser, which Steam currently does not. And I think you can definitely use the peer. So if I go undo, create a lobby, and then I go someone to connect. So this is a lobby. We can select our color. And then once I start this, we're going to be in a peer-to-peer connection. The color didn't carry over for some reason, but... So this is my canceled game. Unless you're charging for your game, you can stay on Space Wars for free. I mean, can you stay on Space Wars for free? I mean, is there any downside? Maybe, like, later. Thanks for stopping by. I wonder if I can... Okay, I don't have the... It's just a Steam app ID, so you can use your own or another. I guess there wouldn't be any downside if they see, like, connections. Like, I'm wondering if they throttle that game ID or anything, you know. This feels like it's not a... It's definitely not a permanent solution. But maybe you're right. Maybe just, like, Steam ID is the way to play with your friends. I wonder what would be more complicated, Godot Steam or WebRTC? It's only for published Steam. You can do browser, other platforms. I mean, I really like the idea of doing a browser, but I'm biased, I think. Last time I looked at this documentation, it wasn't great. So I could try this. One momento. So, though everything else won't you be paying for hosting? No. WebRTC is pure peer-to-peer connection. There is a tiny like signaling server that does chat, but it's just literally a little bit of text packets to exchange to make the connection. But once we're in this WebRTC connection peer-to-peer, it is running purely from computer to computer, straight mesh connection, no server whatsoever, no relay, punch through. It's what Google and Zoom use for their like live video UDP connections. So no paying for hosting. That's the whole reason I built all this, is because I didn't want to pay for hosting and I didn't want to pay Steam. There, he left. Look at that. I just dropped in, dropped out. I didn't even program that. So would WebRTC and Firebase be possible? Firebase would be really slow. I currently use a Cloudflare a TypeScript for this. WebRTC, I mean, Firebase is just kind of like a data store, and it really wouldn't help you negotiate. Maybe it would do lobbies. Wow, that was loud. That's pretty cool, though. I was able to look at that drop in, drop out. So this guy was able, like, the only thing that didn't happen was his name didn't get set. Let's see if he gets cleaned up. Yeah, I think, yep, there he goes. He got cleaned up. So that's perfect. And now I'm going to connect as John Warner. This is the TypeScript lobby right here. And I can join. See there? Oh my gosh, it worked. And theoretically, you could try this link. As you can do auth by Firebase and persist stats for players. Yeah, you could. My game, I think that's all stuff I wouldn't do. I just wouldn't do it. I would use something like Tallow backend. And so this is going to be leaderboards, player authentication. I don't know. They have peer-to-peer here. Okay. So I wonder what they use. I didn't see a I've got Steamworks integration. Did they? This is not what I'm looking for. Persistence with props. See this? Okay, so how does this do? What does it say? Okay, real-time channels. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have peer-to-peer multiplayer. It might be through Steamworks, but I don't see it. Yeah, there's a lot of great options out there. and the Morrowind influence. Yeah, this is supposed to be a mushroom game, but people really didn't like the theme of little mushroom creatures, and underground caves are very. I thought it would reduce scope, but I think it really just isn't appealing at all. I'd rather do like a forest. I ended up doing a forest anyway with these mushroom trees, you know. I think my like ideal setting is literally like Valheim Meadows, like a Hobbit feel. I mean, this is literally it. It's really not that crazy. Just a little bit of volumetric fog, some shitty clouds, some trees with level of distance, water, not even good water. I feel like there were already a lot of will part 2 cover object pickup move as P1 of spawn bullets? Yeah, so yeah, that's what I think. Maybe that you just saw that demo I just played with the rocks and picking up things. So I had pickups. Where's that? Advanced pickup area throwables. Interiors are so much nicer to work with. Open meadow, yeah. Procedural, yeah. I think I could probably handle it now, but in the past I was not able to make like an open world area. So I failed doing that with the previous game. I made a multiplayer Souls-like, and that ended up being a lot of scope. See if it runs. So we have multiplayer local, we have multiplayer remote. This is an old no ray instance, but I can play. I added a offline multiplayer peer so I can play single player. Just cleaned it up a little. It's currently muted, but it's probably for the best. Even has a shop in it. This was a pain in the butt to make. It's got a bow. Let's get the bow. Ow. See, his attack animation is currently broken because that's just life, but at least he died. How do you handle the scripts in single player? Do you just ignore the multiplayer checks? Let me preach to you, offline multiplayer peer. This is a drop-in replacement. So we have our multiplayer peer. We've got all these peers. I've used all these peers. No, I'm dying. Yeah, I mean, I just dropped in an offline multiplayer peer, and all the checks will work. You're just basically the server. Yeah, they're supposed they cycle around you, and they have like a timer between attacks. The enemy AI is one of the hardest parts of game development, and I say behavioral AI, not actual AI. But yeah, all these peers are useful in different ways. eNet multiplayer peer extension. You can write your own. I've seen one written for Yggdrasil network, offline multiplayer, WebRTC player peer, and WebSocket multiplayer peer. WebSocket one is a kind of funny one I've used. This allows you to make semi real time on WebSockets. So you're just polling for updates. And since it's WebSockets, it's going to be slower. It's TCP traffic. Each packet will be a handshake. It'll confirm that it received, and it's like kind of just TCP is going to be just slow as fuck, but good for turn-based stuff where you only want to occasionally submit moves. Oh shit, they're fucking up my cart. No, don't. Oh yeah, his attack, I think their whole attack tree is broken. But that's okay. I don't care. I like the fog in the grass. Thank you. Yeah, fog in the, it's fun. The grass is from a guy who does a lot of math on GitHub. I found his name's ETH or something like that, and he does some really cool Godot examples with shaders. So I just I mapped the grass to like a procedural terrain and kind of like made it fade in and out, and it's kind of. And then if you look closely, the trees, they kind of have some shader on them. The bushes like have a wind shader. This was my challenge. Like, oh, can I actually make like an environment? I don't think it turned out all right. Yeah. Having these guys be broken is. So I've got projectiles. Hell yeah. And I'm pretty sure they like when they hit something, they just stick in there for a second or two. That's a physics freeze. I'm sure you're familiar with all that. What else can we buy? Got a shield. Can I buy the shield? Oh, I'm too poor. Give myself some money. Oh yeah, and I think later, have fun. I'm just having fun. Kind of playing some older games. All right, that's enough of this. Oh yeah. Turn the music back off. Yeah, I think I might do WebRTC. Let's see how hard it is. Add part. What do we say? Add web RTC. Boom, 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 boo-doo-doo. It's done. I've downloaded this thing so many times, but it's a required step. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. What happened there? What the fuck? Why am I starting a server? I think Tube is fucking with me. Plugins. Tube is off. Oh, that's so weird. If OC Transfer right there. Excuse me? I think it's this Tube asset. It's good to test off stream. I mean, well, You know what I mean? No? All right. We're rolling back. What on earth? Software. Okay. Literally nothing changed except we added WebRTC. Okay, we'll do that. Oh my god, I'm dumb as fuck. This is why you don't type into examples here. It's so funny. That's fine. Now I can put back the WebRTC thing and reinstall Tubi. Do, 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 do. Come on, Andrew. All right. WebRTC. Boom. Don't do it to me. Damn. All right, first things first. Test that our game still works. It works great. Of course it does. Second thing, tube. We have so many tube. This is weird. Tube context. Create new tube context. What the fuck does that mean? Resource? Okay, we did it. Tube context. Okay. That looks good. Let's say automatically click generate. I like that one. You could skip 2 and 3. Let's add these trackers. Fuck. But why? Whatever. Who the fuck is Bethesda? It's literally Bethesda. That's interesting. Who would have thought? Not me. It should not be removed while the session is open. Okay. All right, we're going to take a little baby break, but when we come back, we will tube it up, baby. Baby, baby, boop, boop, boop. I see Godot. Do we not? We see Godot? Yes, we do. I see Godot. I click like. Um, yeah, we're currently implementing a tube session to make WebRTC work. Um, I'm trying to learn Godot as well. I know near the co-op multiplayer level. That's okay. Everyone starts somewhere, and the fact that you're learning is awesome. Anyone can do it. Godot makes it easier. Godot is so easy to learn. There are so many great YouTube tutorials out there too. Like that's how I learned how to do the basics in Godot, like player movement and stuff like that. In this game, we have like a really simple player. It's about as simple as it gets. I can show you what the game looks like. What we're working with here is a multiplayer game. Allow. And there he is. Whee! Whee! And we can shoot balls. Whee! We shoot the ball. Here's the other cool part is we can leave and the server's still running. We can rejoin. It's all together. We're learning something new here as well. We're learning about P2P WebRTC. We need a tube client, huh? Oh, it's a WebRTC multiplayer. That makes sense. Does it create its own? I think the thing that stops me the most, I have absolutely no clue what good code should look like. So I'm always overthinking choosing the right solutions for my problems. Um, the great thing about game dev is that you're iterating quickly. You're writing something, you're testing it out, and if it works, you can keep it. You know, get it to work first. Don't worry if it's the right solution. Some of my old code looks atrocious. It looks really bad, but it did the job. And then I was able to start a new project and carry some of that code over and delete the parts that didn't work. And that ends up having a nice, clear set of principles when you get a feel for what you need, what you don't need. Just evolves over time. So I've carried some of these functions through all my projects, right? So you don't have to worry about it. You know, especially like my first games, they were um, really, really ugly and um, poorly crafted. Like, I mean, you can look at like this game. It's one of my first 3D game. I was like, I don't think I'll ever be able to make a 3D game. But look, like, he's got all this junk on him. It looks like garbage. It's all mixed up, and then um, worked. And then I've got like this level that's like a lava level. It's actually pretty shitty. Uh, Unperformant, and the code is bad. Look at all that. I got like, what am I even doing here? That's not necessary. Goal protection, body entered, lava area, body entered. Yeah, I've got all this. This looks really bad. But you can see I've got some of my original like prepare client, host pressed. Like I'm chaining a function. This function does nothing except call another function. So I wouldn't worry about what your code looks like, because it gets better. The goal is to make a game, not to make a perfect. So, speaking of making a game, I like this system. I think this is going to work really well. It might not look like I'm doing anything, but I assure you I'm thinking extremely carefully. This is what's called hammock driven development. You kind of sit and chill and let the solution come to you. All right. I think our first step. What the fuck is this? Okay. Here we go. I think we could do. Has to be in the scene tree. I think we can. Do we have to add it as a child? I think it's better to do it this way. Yeah, let's do it this way to start. That simple, baby. What was it called? Session ID. The fuck? Where did these come from? I guess it came from Tube. That's cool. How do you make a left icon? You're doing the IP address thing, right? Close. We're doing something even cooler. We're doing a peer-to-peer WebRTC connection called Tube Client. So this is the follow-up to the tutorial we were doing. If I look at this and like say, it's not quite what we want. I like the icon, but I wish I could. Why can't I go to the left on that? It's going to be WebRTC peer-to-peer using something called Tube, which is in the asset library. If you search Tube, this is a really easy to use, simple online multiplayer using P2P WebRTC because like Google Meet and Zoom and other protocols, they're built on WebRTC, usually streaming video. But you can also use it to stream games. And it's going to be a session ID based thing. So we're creating not an IP address field, but a session ID. So as cute as it is to use this, and we should call this maybe we can just put a max length, a min length on that, like the layout. Let's do like 200. There you go. Maybe I can put the button here, right? Icon. Yeah, we have a left alignment here. What's the icon? How do I pick it? Tube. I don't want it so big. It's not flat. It needs to be. How is it? Oh, there we go. It's a button. There's a couple of different ways to organize this that would make it a little nicer. Like one thing we can do is we can use layout, and then we can do, instead of fill, we can shrink begin, shrink center. But then we lose our icon? That's so odd. I'm having fun. It might not look like it, but I'm actually having a ton of fun. But it's so odd to me. And this is one of the odder things I've ever seen in Godot, is that we have icon right, and then we can make this smaller just by going like fit to text or fix to line edit, you know, fix text, and this just works. But the buttons should have an identical behavior here. And they don't, because we have a some weirder Like, what can I think about that? What is the fuck is this? What does expand icon do? Enable is finishing to fit the button size. I'll give you a satisfaction. Icon max width. So icon max width is a thing here? There's no icon max width. I don't see that. What is this? That's cool. Oh, here it is. There you go. We've done it. Perfect. Then we do some layout here. We go like this, container sizing, shrink center. And then custom minimum size, like 200. So 150. Let's see what that looks like. Doo. I think what we'll do, I don't like that icon at all. It's cool we've got icons now. Any others? Fuck it. I don't need it. Then we can just stack these here. Make it all simple. Good enough for government. And so we have this one as well. As just so we do that. I'm fucking um what's wrong with me? Wasting time on the dumbest things. What's wrong with me? Need some sugar. Give me some sugar. Cheers. Hell yeah. Amazing. Okay, let's dig in. It says text changes by default, right? Hey, Andrew, what up? Are you trying the tube plugin? Yeah, we're doing really well with it so far. I was thinking to try some of those as well. Yeah, we are going to add it. We're going to do, I think we're going to do a really fast follow up to our current tutorial we created. Um, it looks like it does create the multiplayer peer for us. So we should be able to just hook up to the signals as created. So peer created, peer disconnected, and then so let's try that. It's like it's literally like this. I wait. Here's the thing. These should work because we're setting the multiple peer somewhere else. So this is actually correct. This part I think might work. You could, yes, but I'm gonna try it like this. Like this is not how they do it. Um, I don't know. I'm hacking at it. Now, do you do peer to peer or dedicated server? We're doing peer to peer. I don't want dedicated anymore. I think dedicated is great for learning. Now, I have a real problem because people ask, "Oh, should I do peer to peer or a dedicated server? Peer to peer or dedicated server? Or I want to host. How do I host?" These terms are kind of like so. I mean, maybe it's not so hard. Maybe peer to peer versus dedicated server is it? But like, I really recommend dedicated server first so you understand how everything works. Because that's what I did, and I finally learned enough that it clicked for me. Then once you're really good at that, then you can go back to and do hosting peer to peer, that sort of thing, putting a client on the server. That is how I've been successful. All right, so what we can do here is stop. We go like this, get rid of this server flag, go down to 2 instances. Should still tile. All right, create session. Okay, we have an issue. You have to struggle first, and then you kind of break through. There we go. Hello, hello. All right. It's that easy, baby. It's that fucking easy. We just did peer-to-peer. Even this works. Perfect. It's that easy. This is fine. This is good. These errors are not a problem. But we'll clean those up. Godot copy to clipboard. Okay. Let's do here. Let's do this. On the player. Sup? We're going to make some UI here. I think it's that simple. Going to be lurking. Good luck with your project. Yeah, lurk away. Have fun. Ask questions if you have them. We're making a peer-to-peer WebRTC prototype, and this is working great so far. Do we say session ID? Do we even care? Do we just print it, right? We'll create a little paste button. Get a little icon, baby. Pretty sure there's a copy one in here. Where is it? Where's the copy? Clipboard. That'll do it. Little known fact, go into theme override constants, and you can do like, there we go. Layout. Expand. And we can do some layout here and just do custom. That's it, right there. So when we mount, gotta get that clipboard. Thanks, AI. Fuck you. There we go. Copy. It's that simple, baby. Just got to figure out how to disable this. That's it, session ID. You share that with a friend, they can join me. I could share that with you right now and it would work. That's how good that is. No NAT punch through. No nothing. It's what you were looking for, exactly. Well, you know where to go. It's called Asset Library Tube. You can do it yourself. You're a smart guy. Yeah, all I did was follow the docs. You click here, and you save view files. It took me 1 hour. It would take me 20 minutes. It took me 5 minutes to do it next time. All right, I'll be right back, folks. Good job. So you want to add multiplayer to your heisting game, huh? Have you heard of Zombies? Zombies Ate My Friends. Yeah, we looked at that the other day. Zombies Ate My Friend, and we think the video is really. I'm sorry, the art is really good. I really like how the art looks. It's the color palette is really nice. It's pretty sweet. Look at that. That's really fun. So we want to fix this error before we're done. We're gonna wrap up here, or at least take a longer break because we've been working on this for a while and it's working great. We got this really repetitive set of things here where we add the world and we hide, add world, hide, add world, hide. I think we could do that better, but you should listen to the music because the music. Yeah, we'll listen to the music. You ready? We'll go back. This one. Oh, this is the storyline. Suffered from what most people guess is the dreaded energy system. What does that mean? That's a cool video. Positively safe house. OST is no, this is not it. Let's listen to the safe house. Here we go. This is kind of low quality, but hell yeah. It's very goofy. I'm tearing up. All the nostalgia. I used to hate it when energy runs out. Pretty fun. Hope this I would hire this artist. I'll tell you that. I don't really care for the music, but I think the art is really good. That's what I'll say. So, um, the one thing we don't have is a leave here. So, Andrew, more like, yep, you failed, huh? You tried hard, didn't you? All right, so create session, and then we copy that, and we are good to go. There we go. All right, so now there is one, a peer ID of one. So we're gonna see what happens when one leaves the game. They're gonna, what are they gonna disconnect here like this? Delete port mapping. I know it's not the same. It's just too bad. It's so sad. At least you still found me because, you know, none of these sites they'll redirect to your new name. It's kind of like, I guess, so it doesn't let you squat. But let's repeat that experiment. Copy, join, go over here. No, I didn't repeat the experiment. This is so nice. It's a better system than what I was developing for sure. Do you live in a place that has dirt? What a strange question. So what this is doing is it's a good question. It shouldn't be creating a new UPnP. Shouldn't even be doing any of this. Maybe we're not actually. Yeah, that works fine. Okay, so if I don't do that and then I just leave, still does this. It's interesting. Like if your time had to run and touch dirt, how fast you could go? I mean, very hard right now because there's a fucking snow all over the ground. But I have some potted plants, so I would dive for my potted plants. There's so much ice and snow here. It's nuts. Northeast U.S. I'm wondering That makes sense. They did a good job with this, but I'm kind of curious what this error is because we need a completely clean. Let's do this. When we join here, let's just make sure that the WebRTC is web here, right? Oops. Well, obviously no session there. Create. And then when I copy the tag, I go like this. It's true. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. So that means we don't need. We just have to figure out what this fucking UPnP is doing. Good job. You could touch dirt all day. A lot of UPnP stuff in here. Dirt or grass? There's grass around too. But I think what it's doing, let's just see what it's doing, process. Can we just like not have any UPnP? Grass is old school, dirt is more natural. Well, I could get you a dirt texture from ambient CG. If you need a dirt texture, here you go. This is as close as I get. Which one? It's kind of mud. Some dirt. Let's touch this. Thank you. We got a cube of dirt. Touch. Touch. How about a donut of dirt? Yeah, I like these low res ones. Ambient CG is so nice. Let me think here. Woo, it's hot. The next thing we want to do. How do you clean up a session? I have an idea. In here, main menu is here. So we can do exit tree. Close or disconnect. Not disconnect. Let's see what the. Hey, YouTube chat, want a duel? You know, it's funny. I make multiplayer games. I could make a game where YouTubers and Twitchers could come together. Clean peer. Peer refused, peer disconnected. Let's see here. How do I leave? There we go. Leave session. How about that? Let's go back here. All right, give us a countdown and we'll play rock, paper, scissors. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I guess I should have done rock, paper, scissors. All right. Oh, shit. Tofu. How do we resolve a three-way, though? I don't know. I think Shazam cheated. Tofu's the winner there. How? Yeah, that's okay though. It's funny because I used to make games that uh chat could play on top of my screen. Like I had some games where you could jump around on top of my Twitch chat. This still probably works. I mean, I just called it Glory, Glory Chat, and then I made a 3D version where you could walk around like that. No, it was really long ago. It was like 3 months ago, and I can prove it to you, like 4 months ago. October. These are from October. Yeah. Is there a YouTube of that? Maybe. Maybe. This was like, I think, the very first one. There's a little guy. I'm trying to point to the little guy. That guy's jumping around on my screen. And so I was going to make a Twitch extension where you could like jump around on my screen and hang out. What is up, Andrew? We're just creating some peer-to-peer cool stuff. So we have a little prototype here where we can create a session. And once we're in there, we can copy that session ID. We can paste it here. Then we can shoot the balls. That's about it. Now you can make YouTube chat play Doom. I could. Would not be hard. You have a video on YouTube to make complete P2P without port forwarding. You are in luck because that is my latest video. But part 2 is where we cover without port forwarding, because this is without port forwarding. Unfortunately, you only have part 1 because part 1 premiered yesterday. Co-op multiplayer right there. So follow that and you'll be caught up. And then I'll have part 2 out this week. Maybe Friday. Maybe sooner. Maybe today. I do have to do some cooking, take a break. Hey, Glitch Jar, how's it going? So we have a complete P2P, no port forwarding, WebRTC solution here. We just have an issue with this P2P and UPnP. So what I would like to do is disable that. Let's see if there's a way to do that in the docs. UPnP. Blah, blah, blah. I do not want to do this. Port mapping. Everything's fine working on my project, working for models from an artist. Yeah, I would love to have an artist. Did you pay your artist? Because I'd like to pay someone. I don't have a good game idea right now. I canceled my game, so I have no reason to pay an artist. Yeah, low poly is really fun. I use poly.pizza for like I don't know, gun, like tree. You paid 140 euro for 2 models. Whoa, they must be good models. I hope you get what you want. Feels like a pretty good amount of work, I guess. That's like per hour, yeah. Where do you guys find an artist? I have no ideas for art styles. You can go to like ArtStation and just search for what you want, contact them, look for 3D art. ArtStation, a lot of I used Tasty Tony's gun models and credited them. You know, it's a good way to get an asset pack, yeah. You found them from Fiverr? I feel like Fiverr is gonna be all right, but I would go to ArtStation. You know, I feel like there's a lot of great stuff here, and professionals too. Like here's someone who did Dying Light, the Beast. They are literally her profile says principal environment and concept artist. So you could hire. Oh, there's a Riot Games person. You probably can't hire a professional, but you're gonna find a higher quality on ArtStation. Ooh, optimize as well. Yeah, I mean, if I go to like Fab, no, SourceForge. I like Sketchfab here. So let's say mushroom, or what kind of character are we looking for? Zombie. A lot of zombies out there, and then we just have to pay attention to the low poly count. So I go downloadable, and then so this one, this triangle is only 1.8K. That's a really optimized model. It looks great. And you could buy that right now, available on store. This is kind of more. This is 18. That's too much. At least for a low poly. Different from people break the unifier. Doesn't feel complete. Yeah, you gotta hire. Yeah, I mean, you gotta find the right person who knows how to do this. It's tough. I really don't want UPnP. So how do we best do that? Let's drop in a tube, inspector. So now we have a tube inspector. Didn't like that. What if we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? We'll have to drop it on the main menu where our next to where our tube client is. Get rid of this later. All right, that works. I don't care about this port mapping. It's cool we get chat for free, huh? It's really good. Chat for free. I'm just kind of playing around with its inspector. There it goes. So basically, it drops those connections. You see these signaling servers. How easy to include in multiplayer games? From multiplayer can be challenging because you're dealing with different computers in different places. So it's all about making sure that everyone has a shared experience and can see the same things and can synchronize the same things. So you definitely want to start, from scratch. And if you check out my latest video, it's very possible you'd be able to follow it and get a few multiplayer players moving and syncing and kind of understand it that way. I try to make it easy by focusing on co-op games, and those tend to have, more casual games aren't as hard. Yeah, synchronization isn't that bad, but sometimes it can, be intimidating, but you just gotta keep working at it and you'll get it. Right now, we're just kind of monitoring this network. It's kind of cool to watch the interval and uptime. That's pretty cool. I really like that. So the only question is like, if I close this, it's like really silly. Like, why would it? Let's see if they have anything in the issues. Show how example synchronized object. Um, yeah, in the current game, we have the ball, and it's just a simple position and rotation. You can synchronize any property here, but for like objective nodes for like text, what you would want to do is you would store that like in a place like here where we make a new var scoreboard. We're going to do this later where we have player one, you know. And the way we would do that is we would make a new RPC, func any update score, and we'd say my ID and my new score. And so then you have a couple of options. You could like use onChange. So there are some things you should use onChange for, like visible. So if something is disappearing when it dies, you do want to change that to all, let's see if I can move myself here. So you do want to use onChange for that, for like things that are Boolean and don't change very often. But you'd never want to, you always want to use always if it's something that updates all the time, like position and rotation. So you can see like this ball. Let's see if we can actually create a session. There we go. And then can I copy that? I've got to get rid of this if I'm going to join it. Or I can type it in. SRKBH join. Okay, there we are. So those balls, they're always updating their position. They're kind of always need that. So choose always for always, and onChange if the balls like disappear, which they do disappear, but they're actually just deleting themselves, so they don't need to have that in their property. But scoreboard is something completely different. We'll have to work on. So I'm not seeing anything that is alarming there. I think I will try something. Let's look at our remove function. I like to have a timer objective, but it doesn't need, it doesn't need to have synchronization. It can run on one machine. And then when your timer is done, you make sure you call an RPC. And so you would call this as done. And when done is called, make sure you always put, you can print done, and you tell other players that it's done by this. Now here's the tricky part. We can just annotate it with RPC, but this is not an RPC call. Just done doesn't work. We need to do, so that right there is, that wouldn't fire the RPC. Then you have a bug. So you need to go func done.rpc. You always have to call it with RPC. And this effectively will broadcast that done to everybody. So just have to be very careful to always call RPC if it is an RPC. Because I've done so many times where I've done something like this or like this, and I was like, why isn't this printing on the other places? What about this? What if we do something where we go, instead of remove player, leave server. What if we look for documentation on RPC? I know the powerful sending. Yeah, exactly. There is the high level docs. Go high level multiplayer. This is the best thing. Just read this really over and over and over. Read this like 5 times in a row. And then once you think you understand it, read it again. That's kind of how I did it. I think this is the problem here. We don't want to do this at all. There we go. Let's try that. What is on top of my screen here? That's odd. I can't use my mouse now. I think we'll do this. But what I don't understand is how we know who left. What's going on here? I think I still have this control on top of my menu. Let's do this. Let's revert this real quick. He's a genius. Play the big brain emoji, please. See you later. He fixed everything. All right, I think I might wrap it up here. We've had a good run. We've had a good time. This is some excellent progress. Thank you for all your questions and participation today. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad everyone's enjoying the tutorial. And yeah, it's good times. Oh boy. We got any other emojis we can play? Oh well. Peace out. Thank you guys. Bye bye.